Yay there! Welcome to this preparatory sequence for handstand pose, a very challenging pose, and I'm still on the journey. But I would like to share my tips and tricks with you today. One of them is that although strength and flexibility helps to get into handstand position, it's actually in the end just a stacking of bones of the feet over the hips, over the shoulders and wrists that have to be in line. And an important aha moment I had is that there's actually an area. There's not just one single spot where you can balance, but there's actually, you have a range of movement that you can do in handstand, and you can still stay up. We will warm up our wrists and get really the feeling of a straight body that we will use for the handstand as well. And yeah, let's start. So first, lie on your back, and now hug your right knee into your upper body. Use your hands, maybe circle your knee a little bit, and then straighten your right leg. Grab your leg behind with your hands, intertwined fingers, and now flex both your feet. Make sure that you're not in a turnout position, but your toes are actually looking in the same direction, parallel. And now slowly come into a high heel position in your feet, and then point your feet and go back into this high heel position where you just curl your toes. It's also called floint. And flex your feet again. Feel the activity in your legs. And then bend the right knee, hug it in. Maybe with your exhale, bring your forehead to the knee. And then switch legs, left leg, left knee. Hug it into your upper body. And interlace your fingers behind the back of your leg. Both feet are flexed. And slowly begin to point them. Make sure that your foot is straight, that it doesn't make a weird banana shape. Especially in handstand, we don't want any banana shapes. And flex the foot again, or both feet actually. And hug your knee and nose, bring them close together, that they almost touch. And release the leg again onto the mat. Now bring your legs close together, as if you would like to squeeze a thin piece of paper in between your calves, knees, and thighs, and your ankles. Point your toes. With your next inhale, bring your arms over your head. And exhale. Come into a small packet. Inhale again. Feel the strength, the straight line in your whole body. Exhale, bring your knees close to your face. And now maybe don't touch the floor with your legs. And exhale. Come into a packet. Grab behind your knees and roll up. Come into a seated position on your heels. Circle your wrists. Come into a tabletop position with your knees below your hips and your hands below your shoulders. Move your spine in any direction that feels comfortable. Make sure that your fingers are spread apart and all your knuckles, especially your index finger knuckles, are rooted in the floor. This is also very important for handstand position. You can even grab your mat a little bit with your fingertips. Make sure that your arms are not over straightened, but that you have activity in the arms. Maybe have a micro bend in your elbow. Now turn your right hand such that your fingertips face your knee and bring some weight onto your wrist. Move forward and backwards. Try and see how much weight you can bring onto your wrist, how much is comfortable. If you would like, you can either switch the hands or you bring the left hand, turn it around at the same time, and make small circles here as well. Change back the right hand and the left hand as well back on your palms. Now push into the ground, into your hands, and feel how the shoulder blades move apart when you do that. Really push far, that your upper body curls a little bit. Keep your belly button active. That means you pull it slightly towards the spine. Very good. Now tuck your toes and push up into downward facing dog. Also here, make a similar movement. Push into your hands and feel how your shoulder blades move a little bit towards your ears. And that is actually fine. That is actually what we want in handstand a little bit. So it's not like that you actively pull your shoulders into your ears, but you let your shoulder blades float towards your hands. Now, with a wave-like motion of your body, come into plank position. Bring your feet together such that they touch, and imagine again the piece of paper that you want to squeeze in between your legs. Come down into low plank position. Your hips can be shoulder height or in one line between the shoulders and the heels. Now walk your feet closer towards your elbows. You will strengthen the shoulders a little bit. Now move your chin forward towards your hands and move your chin backwards again. Maybe bend your knees that your spine can be elongated. And you really push your sit bones into the sky. Move forward again. And combine your movements with the rhythm of your breath. So now we are going to move forward fast and very slowly move backwards slowly. Because this shoulder opening is actually what we want in handstand. Move forward fast and slowly move back. And bend your knees. Come rest in child's pose for a moment. Roll up. Come on all fours. Tuck your toes. And come into downward facing dog. Again, knees can be bent. It's about the long line between your wrists and your sit bones. Now, with your next inhale, bring your right leg high in the sky. Keep hips square, so don't open your hips, but keep them square. Make sure that your ears are in between your upper arms. And now hug your thighs into your upper body and place the foot down. Lower your back knee onto the floor. Come up with your upper body. And now pull your right hip back into the socket, or your right thigh bone into the hip socket. This kind of motion we will also need when we kick up into the handstand. pull it back. Very good. And bring your hands left and right around your front foot. And come back into plank, step back. Maybe close your feet again, bring your knees on the floor. And keeping the elbows over the wrists, lower your upper body down to the ground. Keep your toes tucked. And with your next exhale and a straight line in your body, move up as a whole without going through cobra. And straighten your knees. Now bend your knees. Come back into downward facing dog. Lift your heels. Bend your knees a lot. Look forward in between your hands. And jump up a few times. And try to land very softly and try to keep the line between the wrists and the sits bones. Very good. And with your next inhale, it's your left leg that you bring up into the sky. Square hips. Hug your thigh into your upper body and protract your shoulders. Lower your back knee. Come up with your upper body. And also here, it's a very small movement, but pull your upper leg into the hip socket. Make sure that your knee more or less stays over the heel, that it doesn't fall out or in, and your toes look forward. Come back into plank position. Maybe now you want to lower to the ground with your knees lifted. Make sure that your elbows are close next to your body. And then knees lifted or down in one go and a straight line. Come up, back into a plank. Bend your knees, find your downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward between your hands. And now when you kick or when you jump up, kick your heels to your butt. And you will feel that this will give you a lot of momentum. And try to land as softly as possible. Very good. Think of the straight line and watch your breath. Make sure that you still keep breathing, and this can help you with the jumping up. Very good. And now, last time, imagine that here in the middle of your mat is a fire and you want to jump over it and be as far away as possible with your legs. So lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward, and then jump over the fire and land softly. Very good. Let go. Let your upper body hang. Bend your knees a little bit. Your feet are hip distance apart. Feel the weight evenly distributed. And then slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra. Head comes last. Roll your shoulders back. Close your legs such that they touch, and that you can squeeze a piece of paper. Very good. With your next inhale, move your arms up. And make a very straight line. Why not have your hands in handstand position, upside down though? So don't make a banana. Just a very straight line. When you squint down, you should see your toes. Very good. Now, bend from your hips. Come into diver's pose. So a 90-degree angle between your legs and upper body. If you want, you can also Move your arms forward. Feel the muscles in the back. Keep the paper squeezed in your legs and relax. Come into forward fold Uttanasana. Now it's your right knee that you step back into low lunge. Your left leg follows directly into plank. Keep your feet together. Now imagine that you're like a plank and that someone could lift you up from your feet directly into handstand. That you're so strong that this would work easily, but that you're mobile in your shoulders. And lower yourself to the ground, either with your knees on the floor or not. Keep your toes tucked. Come back up as a straight line. Knees on the floor or not. Bring them off the floor and come into downward facing dog. Now it's your right leg that you move up towards the sky. With your hips square, hug your upper leg in your upper body and step in the middle, so not all the way in between your hands, but maybe in the middle between your hands and your back foot, such that you can lift your back leg and come into a standing split. Also here with your hips square, so don't open the hips, keep them square, and your heel pushes up. Gaze in between your hands. Make a hollow front body so that you can look to your navel, but then bring your gaze back in between your hands. Very good. And now come onto the heel of the right foot. Yes. Maybe you can also bring a little weight on your hands. Maybe you have to move them a little bit. Very good. Step front with both legs. Release your upper body. In Uttanasana, roll up vertebra by vertebra. Roll your shoulders back. Close your legs. Inhale. Your hands up. Feel the position of the handstand. Your core is engaged. Your ribs are closed. Maybe lift your heels. And come into diver's pose directly. Requires a lot of balance, concentration, focus. Move your hands forward. And then lower your heels. Lower your upper body towards your legs. Step back with your left foot. And with your right foot, squeeze your legs together. The inner sides of your legs. Push out from your shoulders, so push your hands into the ground. Lift your left leg a little bit, such that it's in a line with the rest of your body. And your right leg, afterwards, lower it down. Come to the ground, lift it or on the floor. And with your next exhale, push back into your hands. Come back up. Tuck your toes. Come into downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. With your next inhale, keep your hips square. Come forward with your weight and step your left foot down. Lift your right leg. Come into this variation of standing split. Feel your strength in your body. Lift your left heel. Maybe bring some weight onto your hands. Very good. Step both feet in between your hands and roll up vertebra by vertebra. Take a deep breath. Bring the weight on your left leg. Lift your right knee and straighten your right leg. And also here, feel that you're pulling your whole right leg into the hip socket. Swing your leg through, come into warrior 3 position. Back foot is flexed, flointed, or pointed as long as it's active. Step your right foot down, but keep your body in one line. So hands, shoulders, hips, and the heels is one line. Bring your hands to the floor. Step your left foot back. Lift your heels. Bend your knees. And look in between your hands. And we will also do a few jumps here. So either just small jumps or you kick your heels to your butt and land softly. Keep the straight line in between your wrists and butt. And think that you want to move your hips over your shoulders and wrists. Very good. And next one, jump in between your hands with your feet or step front. And roll up vertebra by vertebra. Roll your shoulders back. Now it's your left knee that you lift, your left leg that you straighten and pull in your hip socket. Keep your right knee micro bent and then swing your left leg through. Come into airplane position. Straight line between your heel, your hips, and your shoulders. Step back. Move your arms forward and lower them down. Come back into plank. Squeeze your legs. Bend your knees. Come back. Push back into downward facing dog. And here we will lift our heels. Bend your knees. Gaze to the front. And in one go, try to jump in between your hands. You can do this. Yes, very good. And roll up slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Inhale up and inhale down. Your hands in front of your heart. Close your eyes, try to calm your breath. Maybe you feel your heartbeat. For handstand, the nervous system really has to get used to being upside down, to standing on the hands. That is also safe there, not just on your feet. Maybe now you can also move your weight around your feet and actually see that you can still stand, that you don't fall. And the same is true on your hands. You can even bend at your hips and you don't fall. And the same is true when you stand on your hands. So let's try it. Come onto your knees. Place your hands in front. Make sure that your fingers are spread wide. Index finger knuckles are on the floor. Make sure, try out how you want to turn the hands. For some, it's better if the middle finger faces front or the index finger is better for others. Make sure that you find a position also with the width, how you place the hands, which is optimal for your shoulders and your body. You can also try out different ones. So come up into downward facing dog. And now take one leg between your hands and your back foot. Doesn't matter which one. There's usually one that we prefer. And now lift the other leg. Now when you swing up the back leg, don't try to think that you want to bring the back foot over your hands, but it's actually the other hip socket that you want to bring on top of your hands. Because otherwise you will overshoot and do a banana. In case you overshoot, you can always open and cartwheel out. Okay, so prepare, take a deep breath. Maybe already bring your shoulders over your wrists, gaze in between your hands. Protract the shoulders so that you can see your navel if you squint down. And then give it a go. Just try it. Be courageous. Maybe hop several times. Make sure that you keep your ribs closed. I know it's a lot to think about at the same time, but give it a try. Yes. And come onto your knees. Rest in child's pose for a moment. Very well done. Move your upper body up. Come one last time onto your feet. One last time for this sequence. Interlace your fingers behind your back and let your arms drop forward. Feel the gravity pull your arms towards the floor. Keep your knees slightly bent. Your feet may be hip width apart. Relax your neck, maybe turn your head a little bit. Release your arms. Roll up vertebra by vertebra. Make your feet or your stance a little bit wider. Interlace your fingers the other way around than before and fold forward from your hips. Bend your knees a lot. Maybe turn out your feet a little bit that you can come into Malasana pose. Your right fingertips gently touch the floor and your left arm moves up towards the sky. Little twist. Maybe you want to bind here as well in this position. Make sure that you keep your left shoulder open and release. Same on the other side, left fingertips down. Open your right arm. Gaze towards the position where it's comfortable for your neck. Maybe it's the sky. Maybe you also want to bind this position. And then sit on your shins. Now cross the left arm over the right arm and bring the palms together. And now bring your elbows, move them up, maybe even forward, maybe lower your head a little bit, your chin towards your chest. Play around here, massage your shoulder blades with micro movements. Release the hands slowly and switch position. Bring the right arm over the left. Bend your arms, bring your palms together. Bring your elbows up a little bit and massage the back of your upper back. Now come on all fours. Keep your hips over your hip distance spaced knees and walk forward with your hands. Lower your upper body into puppy pose. Maybe your chest is on the floor, maybe your chin, maybe your forehead, whatever is most comfortable. And you can also lift your arms off the ground by placing just the fingertips on the ground. And slowly release, push yourself back. Come into child's pose, arms next to your body. And if you want, you can also add a shavasana here. And otherwise, Have a great day.